Hey everybody, welcome back to the Honey and Absinthe After Hours podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Vincent, a background designer for animation.
And I'm Janet, the ex-Disney artist turned independent creator, and this is a podcast about all things art, business, and whatever we feel like.
Now today we're going to talk about should conventions leave California?
But before we get into it, make sure to smash the like button.
Over there.
Flick. Touch, tickle, and make that button blue.
Yeah.
So I've been reading a lot of local news, as I do, and I've been keeping a close eye on when Disneyland is going to open, because it's actually a really great indicator as to when we will have things like comic conventions and music festivals and stuff like that.
Why is that? Explain.
Because it's a large event, basically. Any kind of live, large event where a lot of people gather, they're all kind of in that same category. But they're not gonna like talk about comic conventions because that's so niche. But Disneyland is a really big source of income for California, and so a lot of things has been happening, like businesses and certain sectors of California has been suing California and Gavin Newsom.
Will you list out all the different kinds of sectors suing Governor Newsom?
Fitness, education, food, hair salon, nail salon, beauty, basically. Theater, yeah. Well, basically, everyone has realized that in order to get Gavin Newsom to do anything,
you have to sue him.
It makes it real for him. But Disney has been really pushing hard for California to allow them, specifically Disneyland, to reopen, especially because Disney World is open right now, as well as a lot of other parks around the world, and they have guidelines and whatever to help keep you safe. So they're like, hey, you guys, can we reopen Disneyland? And the state of California recently put out their guidelines for when Disneyland can reopen, which means when comic conventions can open. And the reason why we care about comic conventions opening is a lot of independent artists rely on comic conventions in general, for the bulk of their income. And there are a lot of people in the live events sector, I guess, that
musicians,
yeah,
DJs, things like that,
vendors in general, speakers who make most of the living there's so many things. So they release their guidelines, and I will read them. So basically, Disneyland and other theme parks like Universal Studios and stuff like that won't be allowed to reopen until they are in tier yellow of the color code system that we have in California. And
you kind of have to explain the color code system.
Yes, and it's complicated. I think even all the businesses don't really understand why it is the way it is. But right now, we in California, and most of the country, honestly, is in the most widespread tier purple. And basically, it means positive tests for more than 8% of the population. And the only way we can move to a lower tier is if we dip below 8% and we keep that percentage for like 3 weeks, and then we can move to the next tier.
But if we get more cases or anything like that,
then we go back. We go backwards. Yeah. Right. So it's really strict. The next tier is red, which is 5 to 8% positivity rate, and then it's orange, which is 2 to 4.9%, and then yellow, which is what they're saying California needs to be in before Disneyland can open, is less than 2% positivity rate, which that's practically almost gone, like non-existent. And even then, only 25. It can only open at 25% capacity.
And you can expect this for all the other industries too, from gyms, theaters, live events.
Yes. At the same time, they also announced outdoor sporting events. They're allowed to open in tier orange, but only at 20% capacity. So, what does that mean? When we are still in tier purple. Well, in the same article that it got, like, all this got announced, I think it was like an NBC Los Angeles article or something like that. But there are many out there talking about this. And the Orange County health official. Orange County is the county where Disneyland resides, for all of you guys who don't live in California. But the county official was basically like, we hope that means Disneyland will be able to reopen by summer.
Not next summer, right?
Yeah, 2021.
Right.
And the thing is, though, I don't, like, they said hopefully, but from what we've been seeing right now, we've been really strictly locked down for like a while now. After the lockdowns have been lifted a little bit, we got locked down really hard again, and we haven't really improved all that much. And we because a lot of parts of California is arbitrarily being opened, and what happens when that happens is the infection rate goes up.
Right.
So every time the infection rate goes up, we lock down, and then we reopen a little bit. Certain like businesses are allowed to reopen, and then we're just stuck in this perpetual loop of like, oh, guess what? Every time people get to go outside a little bit, the infection rate goes up.
And then we move a step forward and we move a step back.
Yeah, right now the positivity rates, the infection rates have pretty much, if not gone up, have just stagnated. So the Orange County health officials hope for summer, which I don't buy, because Gavin Newsom, our governor Gavin Newsom, has said previously that he's not gonna reopen California until we have a vaccine. Okay, so what does that mean? So the CDC has said that they have a vaccine available for people like first responders, like the people who most need it, but it won't be widely available for normies like you and me, right, everyone, until fall of 2021.
Oh, man.
Maybe, yeah. So that's the most accurate prediction we can make, that we're not gonna, like, the most open that California can be is probably at 25% in 2021 fall, like late 2021.
And we talk about this a lot. You and I love to do conventions. We've been doing it for 5 years straight. Sometime, I think at most we did 10 or 12 or something in 1 year while we were working in animation.
Yeah.
And because of that, I kind of want to talk about, can we share with the audience kind of moment to moment what it was like when quarantine hit and all of the plans that we had, especially starting with something like WonderCon.
Yeah. So when I left Disney, I wasn't too concerned with making too much money immediately online, specifically because we already had this whole convention thing going, where like we knew on average, when we were both working full-time and giving practically the bare minimum of our energy to it, we were making like $2,000 to $3,000 profit.
And that's not updating our work in like years.
And that's profit. That's not all, like we make more than that. But so I knew that like if we had WonderCon, and we had like really big cons lined up for 2020, and then when quarantine hit, we all kind of thought this was only going to be for maybe 3 months, at most 6 months.
It was unimaginable at that time to think that this would bleed into winter.
Yeah. So a lot of the cons at the beginning of the year or in the summer postponed either next year or a lot of them postponed to the fall, thinking, "Oh, we'll be out of this by fall."
Right.
We couldn't possibly be locked down. Still, yeah. And then the closer and closer we got to fall, they would keep postponing it, or they'd give up and say, next year, you guys, and they'll have like what they call a virtual con. And LA Comic Con in particular recently canceled for reals.
But they held on for a while.
Yeah, they were so hopeful. They postponed from September to October till November recently, and then because there was no word yet, they were like, we can't do this. They're not giving us any kind of guidelines. How are we supposed to do anything? So they postponed it till next year. Now, WonderCon usually happens in like the beginning of the year, and it's one of the biggest comic conventions ever.
We always look forward to March. Yeah. I think WonderCon's it's our favorite con. We just do really well. Everybody we know does really well there.
Yeah.
And it's a good crowd.
It's the same people. It's the same people who organize San Diego Comic-Con, and I think it by far is the best organized convention of all, and we've gone to a lot. We've exhibited at a lot of conventions. That they postponed immediately when quarantine hit,
right,
till the next year. They didn't try to push it and like be greedy and try to make money, and like they knew it just wasn't going to work this year. Now it kind of looks like 2021 isn't even going to happen.
Right.
So that's 2 years of canceled con. Or
they maybe postpone it. Maybe they postpone their con. Maybe they wait until summer. And maybe, hopefully, things open up by late summer. But what happens then? Then they have a con, and then LA Comic Con does a con, and then there's just a bunch of cons that were waiting for this one moment for everything to open up. And then what, are they all going to have a con on the same weekend? Like, how's this going to work?
Yeah, and even then, like we said with Disney, you're only going to be at 25%
right?
capacity.
Even if you did have a con, you as the con owner are going to eat shit. Us, the exhibitors, are going to eat shit. Mm-hmm. The artists exhibiting are going to eat shit. They're barely going to let people in the con.
Yeah. And like, imagine, I can't imagine WonderCon at 25% capacity. Normally, the halls are packed. People are so excited to be elbow to elbow with each other. The point of these community things, are to be together with a lot of people. 25% of what we're used to. I mean, a lot of these conventions already sold exhibitor and vendor tables. Are you going to cut all the vendors to 25%? Because that's the only way for any of us to make our money back. Because then there's way too many vendors and not enough people. And you, as the convention organizers, I guess, how are you going to make your money back? Like, your ticket sales are going to be like non-existent. So there's that. But also, like I talked about how our state is arbitrarily reopening certain sectors of the economy. So, and that's why our positivity rate has either increased while we're still super locked down, or just stayed the same. So a lot of people don't know this, because a lot of you guys probably don't actually work in Hollywood yet, but Hollywood has been allowed to go back in production, and this is live action filming. Where
you see this? I can't cut my hair because most of the salons I like aren't open,
or they've gone out of business.
Right.
Oh man.
Sorry, continue.
And indoor malls, for some reason, are allowed to be open, and yet gyms aren't.
And, taking care of yourself and exercising seems to help.
Yeah.
With all this stuff,
Going to the gym, staying healthy prevents a lot of sicknesses. More more sicknesses than just this one sickness everyone is so obsessed about. And we can't protect ourselves and our health, and yet certain businesses, certain sectors of the economy are allowed to open.
Are favored over others.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, we're happy that people in Hollywood,
The Grips and the PAs.
yeah, there are a lot of people who like aren't just like, oh, the rich types, and like a lot of, like, there are a lot of jobs involved, and we're happy that they can put food on the table. But
it's fucked up that the bars can't open.
Yeah.
It's fucked up that the gyms can't open. It's fucked up that the salons can't open.
And all the artists and all the people who rely on income from events aren't, and movie theaters. AMC apparently is almost going bankrupt. Like, this is like news from 2 days ago. In this Variety article from October 20th, AMC plans to sell 15 million shares and warns investors of potential bankruptcy. Like, we can't watch movies right now. We really wanted to watch Tenet.
I want to watch Tenet. I want to watch
but we
Tenet,
can't.
but I can't.
There are a lot of people still without a job right now in California, and I sense this level of like complacency.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
We were getting Coupon Ramen at Burbank. Mm-hmm. I'm sure all of you guys know where that is. Downtown Burbank. And how kind of normal all the families and all the friends were.
Yeah, like resigned to their fate.
Their fate with the masks on and the 6 feet apart. Not saying we shouldn't do that, but it's sort of freaky that I feel like most people are just totally fine with all of this.
Meanwhile,
most fine with everything looking like a ghost town.
Yeah, because like half that street, literally just that block, was gone.
The Fuddruckers is gone.
Oh my god. Yeah, like the businesses we thought would never leave that area, like there's a delicatessen there that's like historic, that everyone at Cartoon Network goes to eat lunch and get sandwiches. It's gone. That's a historic family-owned business. No one cares, because I guess, I don't know, no one cares. What boggles my mind is like LA Comic-Con, right? There was all this hope. So instead of just being like, well, we'll just postpone it till next year, they just kept pushing it a few months back, because there was hope that things would get better. And
there was like a consensus sometime before summer and during summer that, at the end of the summer, things are gonna get better.
Yeah. But I think it's really sad to say, but there is no hope that things are going to get better this year, early next year, maybe next fall. That this is like a year from now.
It's a year from now. There's a reason why I have hoarded a bunch of music equipment in our bedroom, because there's nothing out there for us to do anymore.
And the reason why I say that is because everyone knows Disney is a very, very big, powerful, giant company. And yet California doesn't care about Disney.
Yeah. What makes you think they care about the cons?
Or you.
Yeah.
Any of you.
Any of the business owners, right. And Disney's reaction to this is pretty incredible too.
Yeah. I want to read their statement that they put out after they learned of these restrictions.
It was so sassy. I've never seen Disney put out a statement like this before.
They were so salty.
Yeah.
Disney put out a statement on their Twitter by Ken Potrock saying, "We have proven that we can responsibly reopen with science-based health and safety protocols strictly enforced at our theme parks properties around the world. Nevertheless, the state of California continues to ignore this fact, instead mandating arbitrary guidelines that it knows are unworkable and that hold us to a standard vastly different from other reopened businesses and state-operated facilities. Together with our labor unions, we want to get people back to work, but these state guidelines will keep us shuttered for the foreseeable future, forcing thousands more people out of work, leading to the inevitable closure of small family-owned businesses and irreparably devastating the Anaheim/Southern California community.
So if you think we're mad, Disney's mad.
Disney's really mad.
Furious.
Disney's losing so much money.
Yeah. Unbelievable amount of money.
Called it, but what this means is Disney will be fine. But Disney's gonna lay all you guys off, all you people that work for them. So like, this only means bad things for, like, if you've ever been to Anaheim, Disneyland is like the only reason why people go there.
Yeah.
Disneyland is one of the only reasons why people come to California, period. They save up, like, families save up so much money to come to the happiest place on earth. And, you know, we get the tax benefits, I guess, but now we don't have that, and it seems like California doesn't care. I kind of want to talk about how it seems like people who still have jobs and people who are maybe working from home, or, like, there are a lot of people, like, in animation in this town who, in a way, it kind of seems like everything is okay and we're on some kind of big vacation and no one's really taking this seriously in terms of the economy. Because when I look around, it's like there's some people who are really frustrated and upset by everything because they're financially affected or whatever. But there's some people who just don't seem to care. Like, all of this doesn't seem to affect them. And in a way, I think a lot of people are waiting for something like the government to come save them with something like a stimulus check or some kind of aid or whatever. But I keep informed about all of this stuff, because especially when I stopped being an employee and became my own boss, I noticed that small businesses and businesses in general are the first people who feel the effects of the economy. And I pay attention to local news because it affects me, but I also pay attention to, like, wider news, countrywide news, I guess, where our legislators,
the network news, you know,
are trying to, like, figure out how to help the states and then how it affects us locally. And then we've been trying. I don't know why. It was so easy to get our first stimulus checks at the beginning of all of this, and why it's so difficult now. And I've been keeping very, very a close eye on the talks practically every day, multiple updates every day. And it's really frustrating because it seems like Nancy Pelosi doesn't do her job. I'm so, like, annoyed at her. And I saw this interview
with Wolf Blitzer.
Yeah. And, like, knowing that, like, there are certain people, for example, like, how I know to take Gavin Newsom at his word when he says we're not reopening California until we have a vaccine, is because he's surprisingly honest in that moment. And when he says things that make me happy, that, like, oh, that sounds great to my ears, I don't believe a word he says. Same thing with Nancy Pelosi. She'll say one thing and then do another. It's so frustrating to see her be like, oh, we're trying our best, while, like, you know, knocking down every single opportunity to make a deal.
Right.
And God, that interview was so cringe.
It was amazing. Wolf was trying to let her go,
and he was kind of on her side. Like, she was really
out of line,
beating up on him a little bit.
Yeah. And he kind of just took it like, okay. And then all it took was for her to go, thank you so much for your sensitivity for our constituents. And then that's all it took. Wolf was like, yeah, I see them begging on the street. And then she goes, do you feed them? I feed them. We feed them.
I'm like, okay, Marie Antoinette, settle down. Man, the condescension in her voice.
Can we let's just watch it.
Madam Speaker, these are incredibly difficult times right now, and we'll leave it on that note. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll leave it on the vote that you are not right on this, Wolf, and I hate to say that to you, but I feel confident about it, and I feel confident about my colleagues, and I feel confident in my chairs.
And it's not about me, it's about millions of Americans who can't put food on the table, who can't pay the rent.
And we represent them. And we represent them.
Getting by these long food lines that we're seeing. I know you are. I'm just saying.
We represent them and we know them.
As we say.
We know them. We represent them.
Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, as they say here in Washington.
It is nowhere near perfect.
Madam Speaker.
Always the case, but we're not even close to the good.
All right, let's see what happens, because every day is critically important. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for your sensitivity to our constituents' needs.
I am sensitive to them because I see them on the street begging for food, begging for money. Madam Speaker, thank you so much.
Have you fed them? We feed them. We feed them.
We feed them.
We feed them.
I feed them.
I feed
Do
them.
you feed them? Yeah, sure. You feed them with your fridge full of Jenny's ice cream.
And Talenti.
Chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here.
She's like, let them eat cake. Cake doesn't exist.
And these are the people responsible for just... It's amazing how stuff like that trickles down to something as, as ridiculous as like a comic book convention, and then it affects people like us, like normal people.
Yeah, and it really sucks because, like I said about the whole honesty thing, she says certain things like that when I don't believe you. You're just saying that to make yourself feel good, and then she'll say things like,
what did she say about Obama?
Oh my God. Thank God for Obama.
Thank God for Obama.
She straight up said, let's just postpone doing a stimulus deal until we have a new president. I was like, really?
Like, okay, I'm going to wait right here while my business festers.
We're all pawns in your game, I guess, because she gets to have haircuts. She gets to have her Talenti in her mansion. Meanwhile, everyone's like, when can I just go to work
please,
and make money and like not sit at home and feel fat?
Yeah. Can I feel healthy? Just something like that. So you and I have been complaining a lot how we can't really. We've been doing our best to jog every morning and lift a little bit, but I miss the gym, and it just seems like I felt really, really great. So the gym's open for a hot second. I think I forgot when it opened. I think it was like was it August or something like that?
Yeah, like July or August or something.
It opened for a whole month and it was amazing. We got to exercise. I felt really, really good, and then it got crazy. We had to wear gloves. I mean, we had to wear a mask the whole time, and then it just got more and more ridiculous until it had to close again. Yeah,
because they couldn't. It got more and more strict as time went on until the state was just like, you can't open. And then, all the health benefits that we felt immediately after going back to the gym, we were like, well, okay, guess we're gonna have to figure out how to do this at home.
And then now that we've had this conversation because we talk about this all the time, we've been at this moment trying to reorient our lives and really get into the mindset that this is going to be it for a whole nother year.
Yep.
A whole nother year of you, me, Postmates, and the TV, and the internet, and the tubing 24/7.
Yep.
Tubing it. Just to pass the time away.
And the saddest part is that a lot of people are leaving California so that they aren't going to wait around for whenever the government decides you are allowed to work again.
Yeah, their businesses got shut down, they're moving somewhere else, and then they're gonna open up shop there.
And how crazy is it that you can literally just drive to another state and open up shop right now and start making money?
And this is why we're trying to encourage the conventions to just not do it here.
Yeah.
It's clear. There is no hope for 2021, everyone.
So once I read this article that came out, I think over the Monday or something like that, I realized all of this. I was like, okay, this thing that I held out a certain amount of hope for the entire year, I gave up hope sometime in the summer. But I still had hope for 2021 at the very least, you know? So then when I saw the new guidelines, I was like, oh, I was naive to think that there would be hope for 2021. And then I was like, what do we do? I think I will be fine because in this new age, I've pivoted and reoriented our priorities to grow on YouTube and to make online sales work and all this stuff. But it would have been great to have both YouTube and convention income and stuff like that. And I was really excited for WonderCon, but my hopes for it to happen got less and less and less, to a point where I was kind of like, how am I supposed to prepare work for next year to sell and to get people excited about, and all these projects I had planned, if WonderCon isn't even going to happen? And who knows if all the ones in the summer are even going to happen? And do I just, who knows if the ones in the fall are going to happen? Yeah. And then I realized, oh, we're going to have to travel. We're going to have to travel out of state.
Yeah, and I think our first con of next year will be Phoenix Comic-Con, whatever they call it. But the con that happens in Phoenix. Yeah. Because it seems as though that is good to go. That's looking good. And possibly conventions in Nevada. What if? We never talked about this. I'll ask you this right now. What if it's over for California in 2021? There are no conventions. Lightbox gone, DesignerCon gone, CTN gone, even the little conventions all gone. But there's still Level Up Expo, there's still Sabacon, there's still all this stuff everywhere.
Yeah, we decided to not do larger conventions. Smaller conventions for a reason. Is because we really burnt ourselves out going to too many, and I am aware that of people whose livelihoods depend on conventions. Literally, that's their full-time job. They go one weekend after the next to a new state, a new convention. It's really hard for them to make work and to take care of their health and to do normal things because they're just constantly traveling, constantly selling, which is why I'd rather have the main business be online, and bigger events will be there to meet you guys or meet our fans in real life. And very, very rarely. I wanted it to be rare because I wanted it to be special.
Right.
At a certain point, we did so many conventions that I could feel that, if you've ever been on a tour as a musician or whatever, I'm sure your joy for doing the same thing over and over again gets a little stale. Yeah. And so I realized either we sign up for smaller cons again, or and I thought about this, people are leaving California to set up shop in some other state, and they can start running their business right away. They can start doing whatever, making money the minute they leave California. What is stopping conventions from doing the same thing? And I was like, nothing. Why is WonderCon stuck in Anaheim? Why is LA Comic Con stuck in LA Comic Con? You guys were planning on renaming it anyways. Anyway. Imagine renting out, I don't know, a Las Vegas convention center.
Yeah, or even a Marriott
hotel,
hotel or something like that. Banquet hall or something, anything. And we've done conventions for a long time. There are some die-hard motherfuckers at conventions who will come to see the convention.
We will come. We will drive out, fly, whatever. We'll go out of California to vend there, because at the very least, like, there's a lot of risk involved because you don't know the people in that state. You don't know, you're not established. It's a big reason why first year conventions tend to like scam you out of your money. But but what's worse, waiting, hoping for 2021, realizing you have to postpone it till the fall, and then realizing even if you do open in the fall, you have all this other competition with all the other cons happening at the same exact time, and you're only at 25% capacity. Versus in California, versus you go to some other state.
You go to Arizona, you go to Nevada, you're good to go.
Yeah, like Disneyland can't move, but you conventions can. And for all of you convention people who are like, oh, let's just go virtual, I don't believe virtual conventions work for a lot of reasons. There's a reason why people go to live events, like a music festival, for example, is not the same in your bedroom.
No.
You don't get to like go and have fun with other young 20-somethings.
You don't get to feel that bass.
Yeah.
Feel that bass, man.
You don't get to do all the things. So there's like a community aspect to it that like is... What I'm amazed by is like convention organizers seem to not go to conventions. If you've ever been an audience member, as a person who went to a convention for fun, there are very, very specific reasons why you go. You go to hang out with other people like yourself.
Yeah, you go to meet cosplayers. Oh, you go to cosplay yourself, and like, oh, you're cosplaying as the character I'm cosplaying. All that kind of stuff.
There's an excitement.
A human connection.
Yeah. That's the point of live events. How is that not obvious? So to make it virtual and be like it's unlike anything you've ever experienced before. Yeah, clearly it's, I don't know, like an online store that I run every single day. Like, I don't understand. Like, why would anyone go pay for your virtual event to buy from me when they can just go to my online store? Right. And like, if you are a popular enough artist or celebrity or whatever, you have some kind of like timed release where you release a book or a toy or whatever exclusive thing. Like, there's another aspect to cons where collectors like the exclusivity of something. James Jean does that all the time on his own.
People line up, you know?
Yeah, like bots buy his prints like crazy and resell them on eBay. I don't understand, but like a lot of the smaller artists, they rely on foot traffic, just like a lot of retail stores. For example, you would probably never step foot in certain retail stores if you weren't just window shopping and it happened to be on a really prime location in a really fun shopping area. There are a lot of smaller artists who don't have a huge following like James Jean that can't do timed releases like this. And when you try to do that virtually, it doesn't come across with the same way with the exclusivity. It's not
nearly as exciting.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's something about like knowing that this line is going to be crazy and you have to get there.
The anxiety
early.
of like, oh, am I going to be able to get this?
Yeah, and then actually getting it then and there in your hands.
It's like, oh.
It's like all the fun of conning is
just non-existent on the internet,
in the virtual space.
It's like sex, right?
What?
It's like, what's better, virtual sex or real sex? Real sex.
Some would disagree with you.
That's sad.
Yeah,
that's sad. Maybe we should edit that out.
Do you think we did a good job convincing cons to maybe leave California?
No. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's just such a gamble. You know, everything's so uncertain. But one thing's for certain, I think you should approach it like it's not going to happen next year, or you're not going to be allowed to, you know, set up shop at Anaheim or the LA Convention Center.
Yeah, there's so much up in the air.
But I'm so excited to go to Phoenix, you know?
Yeah, but there's a part of me that also thinks that there's a higher chance cons in other states are going to happen because California right now is the most strict, but there's no guarantee that these other states are gonna have cons either next year. And that's really sad. I'm really like frustrated with the whole state of this because it just none of this makes sense. The art, like, I don't normally agree with Disney, but the arbitrary regulations of who is allowed to go to work, who is not allowed to go to work, what is allowed to open, what is clearly being favored, and why, like, I've been keeping up with local news and this kind of stuff for, like, ever since the pandemic has started. And it's amazing what wonders when you get together and you sue the state of California when finally they do something.
Yeah, you probably paid attention for a whole month or so and nothing would happen. And then you started realizing, oh, things are moving in a certain direction because Newsom's getting sued up the butt.
Yeah, and what I thought was really crazy is, like, they really didn't care. Like, I really thought, because when I found out Disney was pressuring California to, like, hey, can you let us open? I was like, oh, if they let Disney open, all the gyms have to open, all this stuff, like, because it will just be so clearly unfair.
Everyone would go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how is it that Disney can function and we can't?
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, oh,
this
Disney,
is it. This is it.
We get our gyms again. Because I thought, like, they're not gonna say no to Disney. Come on.
California was like, fuck you, Disney.
I know. I was
fuck
like,
your shit.
Wow.
Do you think we give a shit about your stupid fucking theme park? Fuck you. Go to hell. Sit in the corner and wait until I say you're allowed to open up. And Disney's like,
for good reason. And I was like, oh wow, they said no to Disney.
yeah, that's a big fucking deal.
And I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no, this means very bad things for everyone else.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I would just hedge my bets and be like, just move to Arizona, move to Nevada. At least they're reopening. Rules aren't as strict as here, where it just seems like we're gonna be locked down until we get a vaccine. Yeah. There's no if, and, or buts about it. I had this prediction that you'd probably go back to work, like work in the office, probably by summertime. Now I'm like, you're stuck with me till
next summer.
Next fall.
Next fall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Next summer is like hopeful, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh, maybe you get like the office and I don't have to be in your hair all the time. Parents are also suing Gavin Newsom in order to get their kids to go back to school.
You think parents like being with their fucking kids 24/7? I don't think so.
So when the pandemic started, we all got these crazy, like, Twilight Zone pandemic ads on YouTube and on the TV that are just like, wow, this is 2020 for you. We get pandemic ads. This seems like something out of Fallout or something. And
something Black Mirror or something.
Yeah. And I hated all of them. I was like, stop reminding me that I can't go outside and go to the gym and do the things that I want to do. Like, I'm miserable. Stop reminding me. You don't care about me. You're not with me. All those, like, car insurance ads. Like, what? Why are you pointing out the obvious? Or, like,
it's like, we know we can't open up at full capacity, but we wait for the day that we can't.
We're with you. Like, no, you're not. And there's this one Postmates ad that really got my, yeah.
When you spend time with your family, pad thai.
Yeah, like,
pad thai.
Yeah, like, God damn it. Stop it. That's so annoying. But there was one ad that I thought was hilarious. It showed how frustrated parents were of their toddler screaming, and going crazy, running around them in circles, and they're like, we got the best thing to cure all of this for you. I was like, that's funny. You're making light of all of this.
It makes us smile.
Yeah. We all gotta laugh somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, parents are not having a great time, and so this is like around when we all got locked down again, and then the school year was starting, and then parents were like, no, I suffered through spring, I suffered through summer, my kids better go back to school in the fall. I can't stand this for any much longer. And the state was being really unclear about how they're gonna reopen again after suddenly no one was happy about being locked down again. And I was checking every single day on local news, and I noticed around when the parents started causing me a big fuss, and they're like, we're gonna sue you, Gavin Newsom, our kids need to go back to school. Suddenly there was a whole lot of news about the guidelines for children and college students and everyone to go back to school. It was amazing. I was like, wow. The attitude was like, we must be shut down, we must be careful and all this stuff. And then when the parents started suing him, he was like, okay, maybe we won't be able to reopen the schools. How about that? We'll figure out a way. And then they quickly put out this coded system, which didn't make anyone happy because we're still in purple. No one is allowed to go back to school yet in person, and still being sued. But at the very least, they got answers very quickly, and they were trying. They were like, we think young children can go back to school.
Yeah.
I think so. We live near an elementary school. I think they're open actually.
Yeah. I've driven past there around 3. Parents picking up kids and stuff. And they're like, and high school students, maybe we'll allow you. Before that, they were like, no, we need to be safe. And I was like, your tune has changed when money is on the line. Yeah.
It really has. And I was like, you know what everyone should do then? Everyone should just sue him. And all the gyms should come together. And then after the Disney news came out, I saw another article where the Gym Owners Association or something like that have gotten together and are now trying to sue the state of California and Gavin Newsom.
And it sucks because he's not up this year
for re-election.
But we have to wait 2022 to give him a piece of our fucking mind.
Exactly why. Very convenient, isn't it, that we're locked down until 2021, basically to the end of 2021. Very convenient. I have a recommendation for you guys that
one of our biggest inspirations.
Very pertinent to all of this. There's a speech, there's a big old monologue in there that everyone should listen to. And you guys should all watch the movie The Network
by Sidney Lumet.
And a lot of people probably already know the speech I'm talking about because it's referenced all the time. And I'm sure a lot of people thought that was what I was doing when I quit my job at Disney.
I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
I want you to shut out your windows. Yeah. And it's amazing. You recently brought it up when we were like, oh, we're going to recommend this movie in this podcast. And when we listened to the speech, I didn't remember how exactly our times this speech was. It talks about punks causing chaos in the streets and how we're stuck in our homes.
I have it. I modified it a little bit. Should I read it?
You should.
Should I?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Because you're very good.
I'll try
at this.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. He said depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. And there's no one anywhere who seems to know what to do. There's no end to it. We know the air's unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TV while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way things are supposed to be. We know things are bad. Worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy. So we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we are living in is getting smaller. And all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let us have my toaster and my YouTube and my Postmates, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. This is hard. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you what to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and China and crime in the street. All I know is that first you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being, God damn it, my life has value. So I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs, and I want you to get up right now and take to social media, hashtag in all caps, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore.
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. And scene. Yeah. We changed a few things in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but it's a great movie. And just like in that movie, no one cares and no one's going to do anything about it.
And neither will you.
All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Honey and Absinthe podcast. Head over to honeyandabsinthe.com for our merch. I am wearing the Hustle shirt today. Check out these other podcast episodes. We have 37 of them, I think, now.
Wow.
Remember to smash the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.